I really enjoy the time I spent and all that I learned while I was in school. But I did not realize while I was learning all the creative things how important the business of fashion was, or the business to the fashion industry overall. And it has taken me 20 plus years working in the fashion industry to really understand and appreciate the differences, but also the importance of fashion merchandising. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikkel Drew Pelham. I talk about digital fashion design software and communication on this channel, but like today's video, I also talk about those parts of the business of fashion that a designer and a fashion entrepreneur should know and understand. So if any of those topics interest you, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Most designers don't get any or very little information about fashion merchandising in school. And so most of us don't really get how important the job is and how important a good merchant can be to your business. And for the self-taught designers, most will gravitate to the creative, which is totally understandable. But if you're deciding that you want a business, even if it's slow fashion, you should have some insight into merchandising and why it's important to your business. It's also something we'll be talking about during our fall event this November in New York City. But let's just go over some basics.
In my opinion, it really is the science behind how to design with money in mind. Like, that's the short of it to me.
That is our resident fashion merchandising expert, Alicia Appleton. And I really love how simple her definition is. Designing with money in mind, which is really something every business owner should be already doing, but a lot of us are not. If you want your business to support you and your family, if you want longevity, if you want it to be legit, and I say legit because in order for you to have a legitimate business, it needs to be profitable. Otherwise, it's an expensive hobby that you can continue if that's what you want to do. But let's not get it twisted. It's not a business. One thing I will say is that having a fashion business is much more challenging than having a clothing business. If you need a little more insight into this concept of fashion versus clothing, make sure you check out this video. But essentially, if you're designing fashion, your design should make a statement. They're culture shifting, more artful. And although it can be more challenging to create a viable fashion business, it's not impossible. If you design clothing, your designs can make a statement and be culture shifting, but they don't have to. And it can be a lot easier for you to find your customer, create key items, both important parts of fashion merchandising, and build that business. I actually believe that there are a lot more people who want to design clothing than fashion. And sidebar, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. In merchandising, you're using data, whether that's from previous sales, competitive analysis, things you know about your customer profile, trends, and you're culminating all of that information so that you can make an assortment plan or a line plan or do sales projections to help the designer better understand what that person should be designing for the season. Now, there are specific things you can learn within fashion merchandising, including how to do those sales projections, pricing, assortment planning, what data you should be researching. And you can look up some of these concepts, or you can take our online class, Maximizing Sales and Profits, The Power of Fashion Merchandising. But however you decide to get that information, it's important to the success of your business that you do get it and understand it. This is the part that most of us are familiar with, the creative. It's what most of us know and love to do, and what many of us have innate talent for. As I mentioned previously, there is a difference between designing fashion and designing clothing. But if you're a brand, you should be taking into consideration the customer's needs and wants, regardless of which you're designing. In design, the process is to first create a customer profile. And if you're working for or your brand that's already established, you'll probably already have this. And then you can go right into concept, color, maybe even fabric selection, and then you move into design. Of course, you can use a lot of the digital tools that we talk about on this channel to visually communicate your designs. And then once you've agreed on what styles to move forward with, you'll create a tech pack to get samples. So, how do fashion design and fashion merchandising work together? Traditionally, in a more corporate environment, the merchandiser will analyze data like sales from previous seasons, what some call hits and misses, styles that worked well and styles that didn't. They might hold what's called a hindsight meeting, and they're just trying to glean as many learnings as they can from what occurred in the previous season, even the previous year. If you don't have selling from previous seasons or months, you start to look at your competitors, see what's selling, what's not. Look at reviews. You might even hold focus groups depending on the product. However they get that data, then they'll create a plan that they'll share with design. And this is how the designers know what it is that they're designing for the next season. If you're your own merchant, you'll need to do this research yourself, so you have a definite plan for what you'll be designing for the next season. Next, you'll design into the styles on the line plan, over-developing where you see fit. And by over-development, I mean if you really feel strongly about something that might have been left off the plan, but you know it's something your customer would want and will be looking for it that next season. And once you've tech packed and sampled the line, the merchants then come back into the picture to assort the line and figure out which styles are most viable, what colors, how many of those colors. Once the assorting is complete, the line is now ready to either be put into the stores, put onto your e-commerce site, or sold to wholesale buyers. So merchandising and design are definitely a collaborative process. And if you have to act as your own merchandiser, you want to make sure you make time for this step to research and use the data available to you to make choices about what and how much you design. Because in the end, it all leads to more sales, more profit, and an overall more successful business. Thanks for watching today's video. If you want to learn more about fashion merchandising, make sure you check out the 383 Design Merchandising course, Maximizing Sales and Profit, the Power of Fashion Merchandising. The link will be in the description to sign up. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video if you find it helpful. Have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time.